Yes, sir. Sorry, I just burped at the wrong time. Yes, everybody, Russ the West Ham Network. Hope you, my friends, you are safe and well, if not a bit pissed off from yesterday. Yeah, it's Monday. We've got a full week with no matches until obviously we play Arsenal at the Emirates on Sunday. What have we got to see? The former has lost more. Lost more than any other manager. Yeah, but he's played the third. Yeah, but he's managed the third most. That's not surprising, is it? Actually, if you do, I think if you did, Al did a little thing on TikTok. I saw that, and then if you look at the win ratio, he's only bettered by Arsene Wenger, and so that's just again that's a narrative. I'm bored of the narrative. I'm bored of it now. I'm going to call. I mean, Dan Silver put a really good comment about Moyes being like Brexit, so I'm going to call him Moyes it. That's what I'm calling. I'm going to call him Moyes it because that's what this whole debate is. It's like Brexit for Moyes, so it is Moyes it. Afternoon, Michael. Hope you're well. Matt's in the chat. Stuart's here as well. We are at home on Sunday. We are indeed, Ludders. We are indeed. Sorry, I've been. Yeah, okay. I know we're at home, but I know what you mean. Yes, we play Arsenal obviously at home. Okay, on Sunday. Can we beat him for three times? Once, twice, three times beating Arsenal. Maybe I might play a bit of Lionel Richie beforehand. Three's the magic number as well. Should play that one as well. Yeah, no, it's we'll batter the Gooners, says Matt. Well, to be honest, you know, I mean, we'll go. We'll do the ratings as per usual, and I think it's. And we made a really, I mean, someone made an interesting point in the pre-show or the warm-up bit, saying that if you know, I'd rather us lose and play well than win. And I said, okay, well, you could take a 1-0 win against United, shit hours winning it, or a 3-0 loss to Man United, and people go, oh, I'll take the points. So it's, I know, and it is, I mean, you know, we came out of that, and the strange thing was that half time you come out of it, and we're 1-0 down at Man United, where we was 1-0 down the week before or the Thursday before at Bournemouth. We seemed a lot more confident, and we did play a lot better. But unfortunately, I think the first goal was a bit of a freak goal. I'll be honest. I thought, you know, we might maybe give them a bit more too much space, but it was a good shot. Beat the keeper. Don't do about that. I know it's true. We can and we have. I mean, you look at Arsenal when we beat them at the Emirates. You know, I thought we executed the plan well, and you know, and I think even when we played them, and granted it was in the Carabao Cup, but when we played them at London Stadium, we played them off the park, really. So we can, but it's all too. And I think it's a definition of playing well, because actually, you know, you look at that Man United game. I mean, at one point they said Ben Johnson had more shots. He had more shots in the game than Man United had the whole game, and it's it's the setup. That's for me. It's the setup. We're not going to beat Arsenal. Good performance, crap result. Soufal didn't win one duel yesterday. No wonder Moyes pulled him 4 times, if you include. Yeah, indeed. We'll talk about that in more detail. We're in the Hammers headlines. West Ham women, epic win, historic win, beating Arsenal for the first time ever in the WSL, which is great. Can't keep relying on Pack. I think we do. I think we do rely on them. We can't keep. I think we do rely on them. And I put it as a save our season, Paqueta, because I think we need something extra. So we need some, because at the moment for me, I think Emerson looks like a different player than pre Paqueta injury, in my opinion. It didn't work, him on Kudus together on that left hand side. Really, it might work in time, but they put it together, it just didn't work, and obviously he was non-existent, I thought, for the game against Bournemouth. But even back when you go back and look at when we played at Upton Park with Payet. When Payet was out, we struggled. We really struggled without Payet. and we had a great side. We had Noble and and Lanzini. We struggled when Payet wasn't there. So some teams can survive. Obviously Man City, an example, when De Bruyne isn't playing, they always find a way to win, and they have another person they can put in. We haven't got that luxury. So when we have our star player out, and he is what makes it tick, then we do suffer. Same as when in the Bilic era, when Paqueta when Payet wasn't playing, we looked a different side, and we would literally cheer him on. As at Everton game, I remember when he was on the bench, and we just all wanted him on. So it hasn't changed. It ain't changed. Only place we'll batter the Gooners is in a chippy. Afternoon, Artel. Afternoon, Mark. Tommy B, up your own bruv. Time for Zuma to be dropped. We did, but Moyes has never adapted to that. And I think the trouble, but he does it sporadically, doesn't he? And I think that's the issue. It's the sporadicness, and I get that. And now I can get that. That's what frustrates people. I'm not going to say everyone, because I think there's some people who are. Well, I've always said. I was literally just off the phone to Anton about it. I've always seen there's this we've got these people on either ends of the spectrum, and all they're doing is doing that and firing shots over to each other, Moyes in, Moyes out, and there's a vast majority in the middle in no man's land, and based on as I said, I'm going to call him Moyes it now. It's not Brexit, it's Moyes it, because that's what it is. And anytime we play well, it's like, because the one side of the argument is, it's because David Moyes is a good manager. The other side is, it's because the players are playing for themselves, and you can't win either way. You can't win either way, Ralph, innit? And everyone has their own opinion. So that's why we try and voice as many as possible. After the end of the season, get the Luton manager in. Maybe. And this is not. And obviously, Anton spoke about it, and there's been a lot of noise about Moyes getting a new deal, getting a new contract, and there's going to be some people, and there'll be some people like Ralph, for example, just because I've just seen you and they're not singling you out, but who'll be, that's it, I'm done. Fair enough. And there'll be a proportion who'll go, yeah, fair enough. We've had a deep. It's the football's not great, but from we're in the Premier League, we're still the seventh. In that stages, and it's where you take it. We're all West Ham fans regardless, innit? And that's the thing we could all agree in. Moyes skeptical playing kids in back four. That's why it replies on Zuma. Well, then he dropped Mavropanos. So that's what I didn't understand. Changes made to the team at halftime didn't work. This happens sometimes. Manu sat back, allowed us the ball. We didn't threaten them on the balance. 3-0 was a fair result. Second half, I think 3-0 was a fair result, to be honest. Phillips looks a fish out of water. I just think Phillips is not fit. Don't think he's fit. Don't think he's match fit. I can't blame the lad, because he ain't played. So, it's our fault, really, in terms of how we manage it. If that's the case, then don't make him play 70 minutes against Bournemouth. Put him on the bench, give him 25, 30 minutes then, another 25, 30 minutes, and then it'll be, come the Arsenal game, he'll be all right. Toothless about Patman. I just think we missed that vavavoom. Sorry to use a Thierry Henry thing, but we just missed that little bit of unpredictability. We're quite predictable. We'll do it, play it wide, and Kudus will cut inside, and but without Pac, you just don't know what you're gonna. You've got that little bit of a joie de vivre. We were struggling before Patman came. Well, yeah, we were before he came in. We definitely. We just need time, Michael. That might be a gamble. How about in the summer we get for Gary? Well, the trouble is with Stuart. The trouble with Gary O'Neill is the reason why he left Bournemouth, because Bournemouth fans were sick of the way he plays his pragmatic style of football, and so they got rid of him. So would it be literally one in, one out? Are we going to get a situation 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, where people are pissed off with O'Neill ball? And I think that is it. Whatever happens in the summer, it's a gamble. It's not funny. Why is that called a funny bone? Whatever happens is a gamble. Keep Moyes, it's a gamble in terms of the fan base, more schism, that type of thing. Getting your manager in, it's a gamble, because you can't be assured that they're going to come and hit the ground running, and they might need time to adjust the side and get the right players in, and that's going to take time. Is some of the fan base going to give him time? Not saying the fan base entirely, but is some of the fan base going to give him time? I don't think so, because there's too much of a schism already. I love that word, schism. There's too much. So you'll get the Moyes pro Moyes people, see, told you, should have kept him. And then you'll get the Moyes out brigade saying, give him time. So basically, it's a complete reverse of, I think, what's going to happen, what happens now, to be honest. So he's never going to get settled unless we win. I mean, Chris, check him out. Chris Ross, the East End poet, did a great poem yesterday called "I Wish You a West Ham Manager," talking about everyone who has all these great ideas about what Moyes should have done after the game. And he was like, I have to find it. I wish you were a West Ham manager. We'd be in the Champions League without even kicking a ball. And it's really good. 2 more weeks or rush back for Gooners. I think within 2 weeks, Michael, it's a big creative hole in the middle. I totally agree. Other players need to step up. Remember, we are 7th. They all say 12th place on the horizon. There's a big gap. How can you give this man a new contract? Well, I'm not giving the contract, but you got to think when and when. I'm not saying to give Moyes a new contract or not to give Moyes a new contract. I'm just saying there is a possibility in a way of possibility of him not getting a new contract. There is a possibility for Fabrizio Romano. We've had a lot of people said it looks like he might get a new contract. And from a outside looking in, you're thinking relative stability in the league, safe. And as I said, we're not the powers that be at West Ham are not risk takers. They're risk adverse. So he for me would be a safe. Again, I'm not saying it either way. He could be seen as a safer bet than bringing in someone completely different from a business perspective, not from an entertainment perspective, from a business perspective. And as I said, this whole narrative is playing out at the moment. If anyone follows wrestling, it's playing out in there at the moment, literally within the week. It's quite funny how it's exactly the same. Dominate first half, indeed. Can't rush him back, indeed. Gonna say he might be upset, but we need Antonio. I think Antonio brings a difference. He does bring a difference. Doesn't start, but brings a difference. Look how some brave teams are in the Premier League. For me, Luton are balls out at the moment because they have to be. They have to be. If they end up being, trying to, they haven't got the players to see out a 0-0 or 1-0. They've got to go balls out. They have to, and they got to now. All tinkering around the edges, and Sullivan departs. I think that it's not what you get to a position where it's like, okay, that needs to happen. I thought with Paul second half. Me agreed. Paul was 57% out and 40 in. Claret and Booze and are going to run a poll. I suppose it's, but the thing is, Ralph, it's the same bloody people who'll be doing it on the poll. The same bloody people who vote will be everyone. It'll be all the same. And you'll get Claret and Booze, I reckon it'll be 80-90% out, because that tends to be, that's their main thread in terms of the Moyes debate. Hammers chat, you might get half on, you might get slightly, because it's slightly, maybe not balanced, but it's a slightly different. I wouldn't say it's so Moyes out. West Ham Fan TV, maybe. I think, Sean's got one at the moment. I don't know. I don't see the point of the polls. We know there's difference of opinion. Even there, you got 2/3 of, you got 6. So you got, how's that work? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you got 60% out. You've still got 40% in, and that's from a poll. And so you'll get, just shows it's not 100%. We should have gone for Zielinski. Yeah, I like Zielinski. Are we still in for Amarin? I thought it was a great shout. I think Liverpool are looking for him, actually. If they don't get Alonso. We should have addressed these areas in the transfer market. We should have done. Can we kidnap Klopp and give him everything he wants? Funny Bone, aka Humorous Bone, A-level PE, very good T. What did you get in that level, mate? Don't think Moyes was to blame yesterday. Fingers need to be looked upstairs. He's under resourced. Well, and Damon, to be honest, Moyes, to his credit, and again, this is just me talking, distancing himself from all the transfer talk, ins and outs. Well, that's dealt with by Tim Snyder now. He's playing the game. And if Moyes is given a new contract, if it will not be as a manager. It will be as a first team coach. So, that will be his role, and there'd be, something like the Bundesliga deal. It'll be a KPI. I mean, look how easily managers get changed in the Bundesliga. It'll be along the lines of that, I'd imagine, to sort of keep in line with what Tim Steiner would be used to. I would go for the manager of Genoa. Yeah, I mean, they're playing great at the moment, Genoa, but don't forget they're a City Group owned side as well. So yeah, they're doing well. Bring back Stuart Pearce at defence. It does seem we're just not there, innit? Heard that Steiner offered to him, but he didn't want any of them. Well, heard. We don't know. We don't know, lads. And that's the trouble. That is the one issue. Probably with every football fan, we hear things as rumours. As I said, we talk about during the summer, during the winter transfer. I think we were linked with 80 players. We did not go in for 80 players. We were linked with 80. You might have gone with 5, maybe. I don't know. We could probably get an idea of the number we actually went for, and we signed 1. So less than 1. It's just over 1%, 1.4%, something like 1.5%. So that's literally all we went for. Just to give. So that's how it sort of. That's the trajectory we've got there, to be honest. And that's the trouble. We all say it, don't we? We all say, "Oh, I heard this," and then someone else hears it, and it just goes further and further, and it becomes Chinese whispers. Felt sorry for Aguerd. Had too much to do. I quite liked. I thought we looked more balanced from a passing side with Aguerd there. But that's just me. It's always a funny thing. People saying you should have done this after it. I call him Captain Hindsight. Indeed. Different Dave, scuppered deals ladders more so than Moyes. The truth of the transfer will never be known. One side is saying failed and the other side interfered. And again, I keep saying the word narrative, but it's story time. It really is. Rumors are stories. Until something definitive happens, they are stories. And usually a rumor will start somewhere and then it will be reported 4 or 5 times. And that seems to give it credence. And that's the issue. But as I said, we would never, I don't think we'll ever really find out what happened with the Fornals and Ben Rama stuff. Was it a simple computer error? We'll never find that out. I wouldn't believe these sorts. There's no intake it. Indeed. And it's when people go, "Oh, I've heard a rumor," or "I've got information," and and it's like, no disrespect to some people, but why would you talk to you rather than talk to a major newspaper with that information? And things like that. It's like you've got to just take everything, as always, with a pinch of salt. As always, I heard he's doing a poll season thing. Well, he's not. Sean Wheatston's doing a poll at the moment to ask if Moyes did sign a new contract, would you renew your season ticket? That could have come from above, asking for that information. It could, but in the same way, Sean might be doing it to wind people up. The only poll that counts is the board. Indeed, Clanbury lads with passion, but fuck me, the worst case. That's pushed. It's crazy. And yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I think there's all. What I like about West Ham YouTube is there is space for everyone. So we YouTube in general, really. So Nick and that. I mean, myself and Nick and Anton, we have a great little WhatsApp group. It's the only one Nick ain't left apparently, and he'd laugh at that. And it's banter, and that's how it should be. We've got differences of opinions. I'm more. I mean, I think me and Anton, me and Anton have differences of opinions, but there's no wrong with that. There's no wrong with that. And I'm sure, and if you watch any of the shows and kind of on there or on Twitter, there's just as many people who will agree with Nick and disagree with Nick. And he puts his balls to the mast. That's his colours, and fair play to him. He's never changed. Was on making it. He's always on there, Sean. After in budget well, Moyes as first team coach. That's just as bad. What's the difference? Well, he's not involved. He won't be involved in transfers. He'll be as a first team coach. So therefore there's no excuses. This is it. He'll have it on the pitch if the put. And we've been led to believe, and we have to keep saying it, that a new contract may involve things like the implementation of youth team players into the squads, and things like that. Whether that's true or not, that's what meant to be believed. Most of the indeed, would you be in the league for Europe? No. And I'll tell you for why, Dino. I don't see us winning the Europa League, in all honesty, and that happened last year, and actually we lost money last year. We lost money last year because our league position went from the previous season 7th to 14th. That's a huge gap. That's about 14 million quid, I think. It's about 2 million quid a place, which was about what you would get for winning the Europa Conference League. So actually, it didn't work out much. This year we're better because we're in the Europa League, so we've got more money already. But I wouldn't. What we got here? I think that poll was for people who would renew if Moyes got a contract. Yeah, it was. It's different polls, so yeah, it's very. I actually thought first half. Yeah, I thought I came out I did the first second half thing, and obviously, congrats to Paul Flower. He won 2 tickets to the game, to the Carlton Coal night in a couple of weeks' time. I thought we did, and I came out a lot more positive into the half time than I did at the Bournemouth game, for example. Hi Russ, letting two go with one. Russ in has weakened us. Why would any do that when their team are sixth in Europe? Don't know. Thought we bottled it on Osborne. Think his value would have been massive after. I totally agree. And for me, and I said it. I think I said it on Friday. There's a number of administrative backroom issues which to me could show a level of naivety, maybe. As I said, you've got the issue with we had the issue with Yotta. As any due diligence would have thought, in Saudi Arabia, you don't pay no tax. I wonder how that works out when we bring him over here. That should have been ironed out before we got to any potential issue or spoke about getting him in, because we look like idiots. Osman, we were talking to the wrong fucking agent. Again, I could probably Google on Twitter or on Transfer Market and find out his agent, or ask the Danish FA and find out their agent, rather than going through, I don't know how they went through, but he spoke to the wrong agent. Had the whole thing with Ben Rama and the whole thing with Fornals. Those 4 issues, to me, are nothing to do with Moyes. They were to do with upstairs and the administrative area. So something bad, so that, that to me, that we haven't really spoken about that too much in terms of, that Osborne deal. That's a classic example. You spoke to the wrong fucking agent. How does that happen? One search on Google sees that Daryl Powers put, it was November he took him to court. You have to get behind the team for it. We always do, Stu. And I think the fan base always does, but it's a 2-way process. And if the side then don't deliver, then that's where there's issues, and then it gets quiet. And I said, talking to Anton, I remember in games at Upton Park, we might have won the game, but I didn't say the crowd was particularly great that day, and same here, we might win a game, but I wouldn't say the crowd will be fantastic. And, you'll get certain games picking your memories. Obviously, you think at Upton Park, things like the Ipswich Town in the Championship playoffs. I wouldn't necessarily have thought a 1-0 win against Wigan, it sticks in fresh in my mind. Same as at Upton Park. I remember the Sevilla game. I wouldn't necessarily remember beating Burnley, or something like that. Surely if Moyes is not given players that he's asked for, then why does he not walk? Because he's on a shitload of money, ladders. And if he gets sacked, then he's on more money. What would you walk out of a? Would you walk out of a job and a wage just because you didn't get your own way? I just think that's why. I watched Fornals come on for his detriment. Yeah, hardly touchable indeed. Do we really believe we will progress? No, I don't think we will. Summer will be spending big on a striker. I don't think we will. I think we'll only spend big on a striker if Moyes isn't in here, to be honest, because he don't buy strikers. And when he does, it don't work. And as I said, his most successful strikers have all been converted wingers, to be honest. Ings should have been an Arsenal issue a year or so ago. Yeah, but again, Ings was bought as a panic, and he doesn't suit our system. If we're going to buy a striker, you buy a striker who is basically a young version of Mikel Antonio. That's what you need to get. That is what you need to get, because that works in the Moyes setup. I don't think we'd do it otherwise. What we got here, worst nightmare would be starting to go and Moyes getting. I've lost the excitement. Could you imagine? We would literally. I just don't think, and I think also these issues we've had at the moment, these administrative issues, look bad on Stainton in terms of a potential new business. You know, if he's going to go to Liverpool, you go, actually, you've got these things, and Liverpool's a different. To me, is a different job. You know, because Liverpool already up there. You know, Leverkusen were not up there when he joined, and indeed, he started to get them there, and then he left, but he was part of a team. He wasn't numero uno there. Werder Bremen, same thing. So I think sort of the mid to upper mid sort of sides is where he thrives, and I think it's spending not a lot of money to get good players in or see a return on investment on those players. So that someone like Kudus, absolute bargain for what we played for, and Alvarez, absolute bargain. And that's his role. I don't think going out because Liverpool would want to buy the best players. That's for me. That's a different type of director of football, to be honest. He agrees the deals for Benham, simple as that. He wouldn't agree the deals. If you listen to Moyes, he's like, I don't know what's going on. He might be doing it. I've just literally got off the pitch and they've been told this. So Paqueta is the only answer. We need to remember this. Indeed. I always try to support the club manager, but the last few games have been so bad. Yeah. They haven't been great. Let's be honest. They haven't been. We haven't won this year, have we? This calendar year, haven't we? So we're in February now. So we haven't won for a month and a bit. Talking about players coming in, you can let players go without replacements. I mean, again, something like that, Moyes wouldn't have let himself short. And so I think there's something happening there. And for me, there was maybe they tried to pour fast one. I don't know. And again, Chinese whispers, speculating. Moyes can't get the striker last minute and he tried to cancel. It's simple to see. Possibly, but then why did it happen? Why is he still gone then? Because we would have just said, nah, too late, sorry, mate. That's what I don't understand. If he was still here, then that I could see that being valid. But then to go 12 hours later, don't know. Coaches just run the squad and have to use the players they're given, and second, easier to replace. Indeed, nothing. That's the trouble. That's the thing with Moyes. If Moyes is given a new contract, it will be as a first team coach. So if the team aren't performing, you're out, and you'll be on a and it's easier. Whereas a manager, it's all tied into the manager. So I think it's a different contract. I'm not saying he should be giving it. I'm not saying he shouldn't be giving it, but I'm just saying that's what will happen. That's what will happen because the setup we have got is everyone. As I said, I've likened it to one of those long escalators in the airport, and everyone behind is Steinden, the academy, Noble. They're all going forward, and Moyes is standing on the escalator reading his newspaper. He's not letting anyone pass. So it seems if he gets on board, then they can move forward, but we'll see. That United one, yeah, he did, but no. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, some channels are pushing an agenda. Just the nature of the beast called social media. Pick and choose and use common sense. That's it. You can do what you want. Horses for courses, my friend. Horses for courses. Question: what do you thought process sending out some of the? I think it's brilliant. Damien. I think something we haven't really done properly in any sort of. It's been always quite random. I think we're trying to send out a few more as well. We've got enough kids in there. I mean, we'll do the academy show tonight. So talk about 6:30. We've got that coming out. We talk about all the kids out on loan. Callum, obviously, Gideon, Freddie, Dan Chesters, Kian, Heggy, and I mean, look at Heggy. Heggy's kept 3 clean sheets in a row for Den Bosch at the moment. He's brilliant. He's firing all cylinders. Callum got half an hour at West Brom in the Midland Derby, on Saturday, which is good to him to see. Got a few touches, didn't really do much, but first game, get under the belt. I think it's brilliant. I think it's and again for me that's a detriment to the way youth team and academy football is set up in the fact that we haven't got the combinations, the old reserve league anymore. We've got this Premier League under 23, under 21, whatever it is at the moment, and players are just playing against their peers. But that's being said, actually, when we played Stoke last week, they had Dwight Gale playing up front. Do you remember him from Newcastle? And Kieran Clark, centre half. Again, I think he played for Newcastle as well. And he played for Villa. Is it Villa? And our boys looked. You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell they were Premier League players. Obviously not very good Premier League players because they're playing for the under 21 side for their championship teams. But still, I'd like to see a situation where the PL2 loosens up the number, almost like is a bit like the old reserve league again, where there's an emphasis on. Maybe there's a quota on academy players of a certain age being in there, but having maybe the ability to have 4 or 5 first teamers in there, because I think that will benefit not only the kids but also benefit England, in terms of developing the youngsters through, because they'll be more developed at a younger age. Cup is worth more than money. It is to us, Andrew. It is to us. Commentators are wondering again what we're upset about. Actually, watch I tell you what, fair play. I like back in the net the boys, Tom and that lot at Bournemouth and the fan channel, and they did their sort of post match chat outside, sort of in the ground. And they said, right, okay, we can understand why West Ham fans are annoyed about having David Moyes, because the football was terrible. So yeah, still a player to consider. And some possibly, I think he'll go to Southampton when they get promoted. Neil Warnock has taken over. Yeah, do you want that? That will happen with us. Mate, you're right. I watch most of the streams and make my own opinion all I've heard. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and we're all clever people. We're all sensible. I think some people aren't. I'll be honest. I think some people take everything as gospel. So that's why we always say, according to reports, what we're led to believe, we always try and preface it so people go say, oh, you just said that. Because actually, if we've got some really good stuff, so like when Anton spoke to Tim Steinton about signings, that to me is, you can't get any better than that. That is 100% from the horse's mouth. And it was bang on as well. He said it would be 3 days, and it was 3 days. We got Alvarez in, wasn't it? I think it was. Will Dino play on Sunday against? I think I don't know now. Thinking about it, I think he might do. Personally, I would look at going back to a back three. I thought Mavropanos, Dino, Aged, Alvarez, Phillips, and then the rest just fucking go for it. But it's not going to happen. The club makes no sense at all. We rent the stadium. We have a manager who's scared of playing football. Owners that weaken us when we need them the most. Private Frank Price. Oh, has he died? Oh, what a shame. Yeah, Dad's army. Second quarter, we look good. It's always that 10 minutes after we start the Twilight. It's the Twilight zone. I love it. That's brilliant. It's so true, Bill. It is that 10 minutes. It is a Twilight. And if we don't concede within that 10 minutes, we're all right. We could be all right, but we always do. Do you know what's wrong about Ariola? I believe it was a knock from Zuma, and I think at half time, I think it was his head weren't right, whether it was a concussion or whatever like that. Sometimes you get delayed concussion, don't you? So we don't know exactly, but I think it was that knock, and that's why Fabianski came in. Downs might come back if we don't sign Phillips. Maybe. Tim scouts the players, but who does the negotiations? Well, Tim, apparently. Tim, and I believe Tim's the right-hand man. Again, we don't know exactly. And that's the issue, because, again, we were led to believe that part of the Osman issue was one of Mr. Sullivan's advisors, agent advisors. We all know who that is, allegedly, because he's also the agent involved in Yotta, apparently. Basically, so I don't know if you need this Osman guy, you need this Yotta guy. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. We don't know. Unless someone tells you who is the main source, not even the source, is the person, you don't know, do you? Anyone else think Moyes has a habit of saving himself a win against? It always does, Mark. Always does. When it's always save our season or save Moyes' job season game, he always turns up. He always does. Always does. Slipped up in the presser about Fabs not wanting to play for him. He quickly had to change his choice of words. Well, there you go. Kudus took 2 months to be Premier League ready, but Moyes chucks in Phillips, who has been retired for the last 2 years. Listen to Ludders and get those likes in. I don't think we're going to get to talking about the ratings, but then we did lose. But I've got me. I might zoom around at the end and get your thoughts, because I think this is more an interesting debate, to be honest. Right, let's go through what else we got. Areola could be out for 10 days. It could be. But it's good because what they've been doing is Joseph Anang's been getting a few games for the under-21s. He played in the International Cup on Wednesday, so rather than Jacob Knightbridge. So that's good as well. And obviously they're playing on Friday as well. So he imagine Knightbridge will be fit, will be playing for that. And then Joseph will be in the matchday squad if it is concussion. Was taken off, so he didn't go down the concussion route. But there we go. Moyes out simply by CM. Very frustrating working for a businessman who has lost interest in his own business. Indeed. Moyes is just an odd manager. On paper, we should be all over the moon when you zoom out. However, in reality, and I think I think it's, and there's obviously clubs, fans outside of West Ham bubble, pardon the pun, will say why and actually I think when you can people can understand. I mean, that Bournemouth game was dreadful, and the frustrating thing was we played better in that Man United game and lost 3-1, 3-0, whereas the Bournemouth game we drew, and that made no sense. And it just is the way of, but it's, for me, that's always been the case. We'll always struggle against the lower team, no disrespect to Bournemouth, but lower teams, and we always turn up for the big games. And we always have. So that's no deal. But I just think our expectation has been increased, and the expectation has been increased because you've got into Europe for the last 3 years, because you've won a trophy, because we've, and there has been an increased expectation. And unfortunately, for some people, the expectation has been because it's been under Moyes' tenure. So if this was under a different manager and then Moyes came in and like this year and it happened, then I think there's justification for some of the stuff that's said, but not all the stuff. Are you supposed to come off straight away with concussion? Depends. It is a grey area, but maybe it could have been delayed concussion. But because he didn't make a concussion sub, I don't know whether we have to declare. I don't know. I'm sure if it's concussion, then he can't play for 10 days regardless, because otherwise we'd be in all error or shit of trouble. Was brought to hedge our bets, get some goals, keep us up. If he went down, a big experienced player, yeah, totally right. In that scenario, he was surplus indeed, but no one bought him. That's what I mean. It's like we'll think, when we said, we go, okay, these people are up for sale. This is how much we'll get. We didn't get anywhere near that. No one bought Ings. No one, we had to loan out Ben Rama. No one bought him outright. No one, they only wanted a loan deal for Cornet. So these players, no one bought. No one bought Cresswell. Other teams don't want them. You know what I mean? Tim has brought his own team, so hopefully he will stay for a project. That's what I think he has. I mean, he's his brother, and he's just had the head of sports analysis start as well, I believe so. He is indeed. Don't know if it was. I think it was concussion. He's so desperate, but we'll find out. If it wasn't concussion, he'll be playing on Sunday, and I'm sure that'll be sorted. Moyes is so desperate to stay because he knows no big club would employ him. Only bottom half championship. I think Spence. I'll be honest. It's like if I was outside looking in, and I was a decentish Premier League, a Crystal Palace, for example, wouldn't say that's. I mean, he won't go. He'll never go to a big club. He'll never go to a United again. But I think Palace, I think Everton would probably, these type of sides, good Premier League sides, established Premier League sides, would be. I could see Moyes easily. I mean, I think he'll end up going. I think Steve Cooper will probably go to Crystal Palace, but he's still got another couple of years, I think, in him. He's the second oldest, isn't he, in the Premier League? And he still has all the stuff with UEFA and things. So I think that would be the way he would go. If he's surely won't. Yeah, true. But I mean, all the Klopp thing happened very quickly, didn't it? So I'd be interested to see how far that was along the lines. Why are we surprised we don't win? Our manager doesn't lose first. So when he opens up, he doesn't know how to play. Hi, Russ Lee. How you well, my friend? How many other clubs were in for Osman and they were dealing with the same agent? He ain't gone nowhere. No one bought him. Did they? No one bought him. I think, and this is again speculation. I think the deal for Osman was kiboshed by Norshade because they are in discussions with Spurs about becoming a feeder club, and I think that was one of the criteria. Spurs goes, right, we'll do it. We'll talk about it in more detail, but you can't sell Osman. He's the one we want first. That's what I think happened. And maybe the agent thing is a full story. We don't know. Again, it's all a story, but it does seem that from various reputable sources that we were talking to the wrong agent. And yeah, the other clubs maybe they took our lead. I don't know. Who puts Phillips on for 70 in game one and benches him until 20? Who advises him he needs as many minutes as possible to solidify that midfield? I think he just needs minutes in general. I think, to be honest, maybe it wasn't wise starting him for the Bournemouth game and give him half an hour, the Man United game, and then be ready for the Arsenal game. But anyway, they rubbed it in with the Kudus goal. But then Brentford did it with the older one, didn't they? So, it's banter in it. Nearly 100% Moyes goes in the summer. Sullivan will wait for the season to finish. All that is happening. Stone, low balance in the books, no spending to me. All points to a clean slate. Yep, fair play. Yeah, I can see that would make sense. I mean, there's murmurings of, I think Moyes himself said a couple of weeks and then we can start talking, but you can talk, doesn't mean you're going to get, and he might not like what he's been offered in it. Wasn't even on the bench, only played 1 minute. Is he injured? No, he wasn't on the bench at all. He wasn't on the bench for Wickham this week. I think if we bring in more youth, it allows space for more big contracts to top players. It does. As I said, we'll talk about recruitment. Actually, hammers headlines with a new head of recruitment incoming potentially. We've got good youth team players coming through. Let them get into the first team. Talk about that later on. Do the academy teams all play in a similar style? It's very different. They play 3-4-3. 18 to 21s play 3-4-3. Very different. And you can watch it actually. You can watch it on the YouTube. On the YouTube, where you play the under. They probably have we play Chelsea on Friday at Rush Green, so they might be on that as well. What we got here? The West Ham women celebrating start. It was brilliant. That was fantastic. First team it is 3-4-3 indeed. On the flip side, youth playing the same as the first team. Those are system youth that are promoted will train. I agree. So someone like Callum Marshall, if he's playing a 3-4-3, he knows his role, and then you put him into it plays 4-1-2-3, whatever it is, 4-2-3-1 or 4-1-4-1, and it's a different way of playing. Ben Johnson's Grammy. Ben Johnson he's playing well to get a contract. I think he deserves his contract. Would have taken advice from the medical. Would have said he's okay as well. I can't take that on Moyes. Indeed. I mean, looking at the Paqueta situation before, Moyes would have not thrown him in if the medical team said no. He said he was okay. The medical team would have cleared him, and it's a freak accident. Freak. That usually happens when you get injured. My mate, old Tommy Taylor, he broke his leg at school, came back, first game, broke his leg again. So it happens. Outing acquired true, but not called in public. Maybe tell Suchek it's football, not headball. Can you not get Sullivan? No. He doesn't do anything. He does not do any interviews at all. Been rusty, to be fair. He received, he did yes, the Brighton game, definitely Bournemouth game. Steiner will get frustrated if he doesn't get the full reins. Just needs to trust his judgments on the checks. Well, you got to think for someone like Sullivan, it's a massive step change for him to have someone like Stainton in. Even when he had Gianluca Nani as head of, no, was he? Yeah, was he around? No, that was him. That was the Washingtons, wasn't it? That was the Icelandics. But you got to think someone like it's having a proper director of football. Is a totally, so he's learning as well. He is. You tried Terry's? No, I haven't. Is it any good? I'm like the regular ones. Left his last club as he wanted more control. Would love to see Mvin. Mbama or Divin? Is that a combination of the both? Get 90 minutes. That's not going to happen. Let's go through some of this. How did we not get a penalty? Unbelievable, Jeff. Until we sort of defence, we all struggled to challenge the top six. Yeah, I agree. I felt more confident with Agard playing. I think Agard and Mavropanos is the way forward. Although saying that, yesterday when the balls came in the box, that Zuma's going to get his head in it. And I thought Zuma looked I thought Zuma looked better, despite being more knackered, probably. It was really weird. I thought he played better yesterday than he did against Bournemouth, that's for sure. Worst thing is caused the head injury. Yeah, indeed. But to be honest, Michael, my issue with that is Areola. There always seems to be a little bit of communication between the centre halves and Areola in terms of coming for the ball. You don't get it with Lucas. I'm not sort of, but Lucas is more vocal, it seems, in terms of organisation with the centre halves. You wouldn't have get that situation, I don't think. But then Zuma did the right thing. Unless the keeper gives him a call, you put your head on it, you put your foot on it, and you clear it. That is 101 in defending. Moyes has had money, or Tim has had money to spend. Don't forget, Moyes has distanced himself from the transfer market. No goals with 7. We certainly are, my friend. I wouldn't be interested in an extravagant trip to the likes in pre-season. Waste of time, business to be done. I totally agree. But I think the trouble is you've mentioned the word business in there, and a trip to Australia is big business for them. So that's the issue, isn't it? And as I said, there's a utopian view of, I think, football with amongst fans is it's about the games, but it is unfortunately a multi-billion-pound business, and it's about marketing, and it is. And as much as we hate it, that is a detriment of football. It is now. You have lost that sense, the truest, purest sense of football. I think we yearn to have that back, but we'll never get back that point. Pandora's box has been open. There's so much money. Save our season by getting rid of Moyes. Never going to happen. To be honest, still think Cornet should be converted to left back. Possibly, yeah. Wrong, no Pat, no goals. Other players need to step up the game. I agree. We didn't need another DM. It's just Moyes. It's just given Moyes a headache. I think we did need one because when Alvarez isn't playing, we look, we've got the options to play 2, and we've got the options to play Phillips if Alvarez gets a knock, or vice versa. If Phillips doesn't get a yellow card or whatever, we can change it around. He scored, fantastic goal off Masuaku. Will be fit when his loan spell is over, probably. I think Moyes stays at West Ham until Palace pull the plug on Roy. I think Steve Cooper will go to Palace, to be honest, has raised our level of expectations and now victim of it. That is exactly what I'm trying to say, Ross. He has. He's raised our expectations and now victim, reluctant to make him saying go make sense. No, Andrew, don't do the business. Major. That's what I mean, Ross. You're down if you do, down if you don't. You really are. I think, if we're looking at it subjectively, as I said, you're totally right. Every option, every which way is a gamble, and it's like people go, oh, Moyes out. Who do you want in? I don't know, but we've got people to make those decisions. We've got those same people are the people in the club now, and so there's no difference, So I understand why people go, anyone but Moyes. Okay, well, who do you want? I don't know that, but people are here. We've got people. That's not my job. Okay, but the people who are going to be making that decision are currently in the club already with David Moyes. So it's like, why haven't they if they haven't pulled the trigger then, why they would pull the trigger now? So that's what I'm trying to say. What to say if Moyes goes and we get someone here? Indeed, that's what I mean. It's a gamble, whatever you do. Out there in their basis, Phillips replacement in summer, he never looks happy to me. Parking the loan fee, the wage was an absolute stupid loan because we didn't need him. Someone has made it right balls up. And again, if you get an England international, on loan, I think if we hadn't gone from him, I'd be annoyed because I just think we do miss out. It's probably second or third in our priority of positions we needed to look at, but we needed another CDM to go alongside Alvarez, so you can play a proper double pivot. But also, when Alvarez gets bookings, injuries, which he will do before now until May, we've got cover. When we play, when Alvarez is out, we play Souček or JWP is a pivot or a CDM. It don't work. Hi Russ, hi Brian. 2 blatant penalties to go away as per usual. We're playing at Manchester. Got thrown on the bus at Palace. Medical team needs sacking. Was fuming. Well, Louis say he'll be at Man City anyway soon. If he gets us in Europe again, Cup, you can't deny him carrying on. I totally understand that. This is a replica of Allardyce's last one, top 4, and all we did was sign him an EK on loan, and the season nosedived. There's only one person involved in both decisions. Moyes out in the summer. Played well, we got lost 3-0. Come on, Russ. You must have some insight, even though you can't say. Can't say. Because I don't agree. If it's not my place. Not my place to say, is it? Low energy today, deflated. Just going to sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you. We're almost done. I need to go through, so I've got to go back to work. 99% of us, including me, complain about Moyes, but Sullivan pays wages, so he's just jogging along and getting away with all he can. It doesn't matter what you say, what we say. We don't pay the wages, we don't make the decisions. What's happened to Chinese whispers over the Asian players? Do you think they could happen in the summer? I think they could. Very good though. Good question. But fed up with bottling it when results around us go in our favour. I thought, yeah, but Mark, do you know what? It's always been honestly, I remember under Slav, I remember under Pellegrini, I remember under we get this, if we win, we go to 7th. We never used to win. And it always happens. It always happens to us. He messed up in the chance for winner as we needed a striker and left wing. We've got Phillips. There's no one at the club can see it. Well, that's the thing, Brian. I'm not being funny. We all watch a lot of football. Lots of sport West Ham for a long time. The guys they're paid to do a job. There must be a reason for it. But unless someone comes out and says what the reason is, we left to thinking they're incompetent, don't we? Big money investment has raised my expectations. Indeed, you are right. Who would we want to? Well, I'm sure people will say, "I want this guy. I want this guy. I want this guy." But firstly, would that guy want to come to us, particularly with all the toxicity that we have on Twitter of all the West Ham fans? You know what I mean? And actually, and if a new manager does come in, we want to be in Europe and we want to be having as high a Premier League, finish as possible, because it means they've got more chance of attracting the better players, more chance of more money. So actually, getting behind the team, making sure we get some wins, making sure we stay in the top 7, top 8 is what we need to do, not fucking point win against each other. Rant over. But we can attract. That's why I can't say more is that, because people can't deny the good work stability. Yeah, get that. Why have a different first team? I don't know. Possibly grasp him in terms of a new style, maybe. Do you think Moyes listens to the coaches or just sticks his fingers? I think he does listen. By what we're led to be believed, the game against Arsenal in the cup was all Heitinger's idea. So, apparently, but again, we don't know. We are 8th. We finished 7th. Money well spent. That's what I mean. We are. I mean, Mark. We if you look what we spent over that tenure, we are 8th biggest spenders, and we're 6th or 7th. So we're about in the area. Is it too early to start summer transfers? I was gonna. Do you know? I had some to talk about, but I'm not gonna. It was great to see the team in Australia. There was a great. Yeah, I know a lot of people hanging expenses. Not everyone can get there. Totally right. Do managers still have a drink after the game? I don't think they do now. Poch, yeah, great. I mean, look at Poch and Chelsea. Ain't worked, is it? If we do, we should have gone to someone who has been fit. Yeah, I agree. Does anyone know what does? She is always writing for her columns. Being a grandma, she takes a huge wage. Well, she takes she does give a lot of money, but she said, I don't think she's like full time. I don't know. She can't be with everything else, surely. We are massive, says Lee. Please hit, indeed. Right. Let's go through down because they have to get going in a minute. I think, I've seen Clatterby's got to look at it a minute. I think because we are having I'm worried we are becoming complacent and going to battle the run, and fans are beginning to think we are untouchable in Europe. Rude awakening. I don't think we'll progress past quarters, to be honest. Nick's in. Sean says the players Tim proposed were rejected, which is confusing because we thought was in control in terms of, Coventry would have done less damage. Connor Coventry, no. He ain't done nothing, has he, Nick? Come on, let's be honest. He has, even when he's been on loan at Rotherham and places like that, he hasn't taken didn't set the world alight. I mean, look at Freddie at Wickham. He's doing such a good job at Wickham at the moment. Such a good job. Yeah, again, exactly. And you've done the right. Sean says, how do we know that's true? How do we know that what he's been told is the right? Is not being someone trying to shit stir. That's the trouble with all of this. When we say we've got rumors, Sean says this, Sean X says this, my source says this. It's like, nah. We don't. Yeah, I mean, we don't know, do we? We do not know. As you said, Sean would have said at the same time that Tim is in charge of the transfers. It's his way or the highway. So someone's been lying there, isn't it? Bad decision now will impact us on the pitch later. Saw the story states that would find it hard to turn down Liverpool if it's true. Well, I think everyone, he's got no emotional ties to West Ham, does he? Wasn't happy with Phillips being signed. being a forward less now. He would have done less damage than Phillips in the last 2 games. Fact, we wouldn't have played. Would he, Nick? To be honest, would not have played. Fact. Chelsea are another club owned by clowns. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, Nick, I have a hard time blaming Phillips. He's rusty and received suicide passes. But I mean, I personally, I want to start him against the Bournemouth game. I've given him a good 30 minutes of Bournemouth, because he ain't started a Premier League game for about 2 years, and then giving him a second, and then I'd have probably looked at starting him for the Arsenal game. In all honesty, we did need a CDM cover. And I don't think Connor Coventry was the answer. Nick, sorry, mate. I don't think he was. And we did need one. But yeah, I've been watching, playing well for Charlton. Yeah. But he didn't do much. He hasn't forced his way. He's been a bit at West Ham. He's been around the first team for 3 years, 4 years. Never, went out on loan all the time, proverbially on loan. And sometimes, and again, I think because he's part of the academy, we assume they're probably better than they are. And that's why we did the academy show, because there are some players there who are bloody good players. So, there's some good players coming through. So watch the academy show tonight, episode 2. We'll talk about everything, the 18s and 21s, obviously. And we talk about some of the players that are under the radar. So for me, people like Junior Robinson, people like Edris Colin-Beckis, who's only 16, but he's going to be a baller. There's some very good Ezra Moyes, for example, who just signed a pro deal, turning down the likes of Bayern Munich. That's good. I don't blame Phillips. He was a bad loan. I think Phillips will be good eventually, but I think it's a loan deal. So by the time he gets good, he'll go back. Shouldn't have been. What about Adrian from Flumes? Again, yeah. I mean, on paper, it would have been a great shout. Did he go anywhere? Because did he go to anywhere? Because Fulham were looking at him. Again, if you look at some of these players, some of the players have left, and then some players haven't left. Is he still there? Yeah, I think he's still there. So he didn't go. If he was that good, it'd be snapped up. Same as Osman. Osman never went anywhere as well. What we got here? Needs games. I think we'll probably, like our players, suddenly thrown in at the deep end. Yeah, had a night off, Mark. I'd had a burst of blood vessel. Oh, but we played well, but we lost, didn't we, Nick? That's what everyone says, isn't it? That's what I did understand. Afternoon, Mark. O'Neill now doing well. He's got players, but don't forget, the reason why Bournemouth got rid of him was because he was a pragmatic. They wanted to play more flamboyant style of football, and so that's why they brought in Areola instead of O'Neill. So people calling for O'Neill. That's what Bournemouth fans, if you talk to them, same as if you talk to Everton fans about, whoever it is, about Moyes or whatever, that's what happens as well. So there's no 100% guarantee that what we do is going to be the right answer. And whatever happens, we'd sign Andre the Giant and stick. Well, he's been dead for the last 10 years, mate. So not very fair, not very nice, is it? Phillips is a CDM. His job is to shield the ball. He gets paid, does not lose 5 out of 7. Don't want O'Neill. No more pragmatics. And I said something. I said something. Who do you want? And they went, "We've got people in the club to make that decision." We've got people in the club already who make the current decision. Looked well and truly off the boil. I would try him as a 10. No, he's not a 10, though, mate. He's not a 10. I mean, I think he'll come good. He'll come good. I just think there's going to be. I just think he's rusty. He's rusty. That Foy's on the management in terms of bringing him in, because you want to bring him in when he's a bit more not rusty, but you would not, if he was playing first team football, you would not have got him in the side. And sometimes you don't get, the signings we bring in sometimes are players who haven't performed well at other clubs. So that happens sometimes. And what we're trying to do now is eradicate that and get more players, lesser known players who are playing very well. So obviously look at Ajax, obviously we've ripped out the heart of their side, and obviously they had Martinez playing against Man United anyway. Right, peeps, I'm gonna have to go. I'm really, really sorry, but make sure Hammer's headlines, we talk about a head of recruitment who's coming in. A new head of recruitment. So keep an eye on that one. Alonso not going, Armin Slot we probably get one. Arnie Slot, maybe. Company, maybe. Mikel, maybe. Arnie Slot, I like, but I just think he'll be a bit more. Will still not going to happen. Not going to happen. I think we could be runner up to the Alonso Amorim. Both Liverpool are looking at Amorim and Alonso apparently. So I think we could get the loser to that one. We'd be runner up potentially if we pay the money to get them out of contract. So I don't think we will. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go, guys. Can't be that good. I'm glad. That's what you try and do. You can go to Nick to get it all out your system, and then I'll come and just calm you all down. Anyway, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Come on, you bloody irons. Irons.